I can see your smiling face, but not. Or maybe your frowning face. So, today is 4/4 Bhagavad Gita. Tomorrow, Karaji, so they will have a tape of Prabhupada. So 4/4, very famous verse. Do we have to have that light on? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalabha Girivaradhari Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare. Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivakajara Tarsi Srimad His Divine Grace Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivakajara Tarsi Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Sri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Srimad Bhagvadgita as it is Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together please. Om Jnana Timirandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Prijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhana Sutadevi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita as it is, translation and commentary, Srila Prabhupada. Today's verse is number 4, chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge. The bass is too high, take down the bass, but not too much. Hare Krishna. Okay. So, Yes, please repeat. Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivishvataha Katam Etad Vijnaniyam Tvam Adho Proktavan Iti Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvataha Katam Etad Vijnaniyam Tvam Adho Proktavaniti Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvataha Katam Etad Vijnaniyam Tvam Adho Proktavaniti Arjuna Vacha Aparam Bhavato Janma Param Janma Vivashvataha Katam Etad Vijnaniyam Tvam Adho Proktavaniti Arjuna Vacha So please repeat. Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said. Aparam Junior. Bhavataha your. Janma birth. Param superior. Janma birth. Vivashvataha of the sun god. Katam, how, etad, this, vijnaniyam, shall I understand? Tvam, you, adho, in the beginning, proktavan, instructed, iti, thus. Translation, Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Please repeat. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Before Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord, so how could he not believe Krishna's words? The fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only Arjuna inquires on this point, as if he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna. As it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything and the last word in transcendence. Of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present but from time immemorial, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always try to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. It is necessary that everyone, for his own interest, know the science of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the worlds. To the demons, such explanations by Krishna himself may appear to be strange, because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statements of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheists who consider Krishna an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Satchitananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of nature and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna, like Arjuna, is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of the transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna's putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being, subject to the modes of material nature. Yes. Mukam karochi vachalam pangam laite girir yad kripata maham vande Shri Guru Nrinatarinam. Arjuna vacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivashvataha katam etad vijnaniyam tam adho praktavamiti. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Yes, so later on there's a verse, Janma Kama Tame Divyam Evam Yovati Tatvataha. That if you understand Krishna's birth and activities as divyam, as divine, as transcendental, then Purna Janma Navidyate. You will not take birth in this material world again. Janma kama tame divyam evam yovati tatpata takva deham punarjanma naitimam neti sarjana. So it is imperative. Arjuna is bringing up this point He is giving Krishna a chance to clarify that he is transcendental to the material modes. He is transcendental to the material energy. He is, as Prabhupada says here, transcendental to time and space. At the time of this Mahabharat Leela, at the time of the Mahabharat war, I believe Krishna was 100 years old, and his Leela manifest on this Bhumandala was about 125 years. So of course Vivaswan is a Devata, and he is from the creation of the material universe. So of course that is many, many days and nights of Lord Brahma previous. So this question is based on that. Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. He is from the creation of the material energy, from the beginning of the material manifestation. So you've only been here 100 years. How is it possible that you instructed him? So of course, Krishna is not taking birth because of time and space, because of mother and father on the material platform. He is manifesting Janma Karma to May Divya. His birth and his activities are transcendental. We, due to our karma phal, the fruit of our karma, may take birth at a certain time and place, certain mother and father, certain tendencies that we've cultivated in the past life, we will execute them in this life. But Krishna is not such a person. And Janmadhyasya, he is the source of everything. He is the source of the material and spiritual. But he is not bound by it. So one element of the material creation is the time factor, right? The demons, as Prabhupada mentions, the asuras, very prevalent nowadays, they follow the philosophy of materialism. We heard this word, don't we? The materialistic man. But in philosophical terms, strictly speaking, materialism means that matter is the explanation for everything. We see time, space, consciousness. So the materialist has to explain time, space, and consciousness on the basis of matter, or else his theory is null and void. That is their proposal, that matter is the creative element in consciousness. That consciousness is created within the human beings, male, female, animal, dog, bird, whatever, by a certain combination, a certain complexity of biological, chemical functions. That is their proposal. They have to propose that because they cannot say, well, as Krishna does, apariyamitasvam yam prakritim vidime param jivabhutam mahabaho yetam daryate jagat. Beyond this material energy, Arjuna, there is another energy which are all the living entities, which are spiritual, as I am. They cannot admit that the consciousness, the conscious entities that are manifest very obviously in the material world are separately constituted from matter. So that is their proposal. So you're a scientist, here's all your chemicals. You even have nuclear reactors now, and you have very complex arrangements. The phone system goes all over the universe, or at least all over the Earth planet, and it's so complex, and it is an interchange of chemicals and electrical impulses. But is it conscious? Is my telephone when my friends ring me up, is it conscious of what I'm saying? No, it's just a chemical reaction. This camera, you could put a program attached to it so that when it looks at the wall, it says dirty cream color. When it looks at a saffron kurta, it says saffron kurta. You could make such a program. They're even making motor cars now. I wouldn't like to drive in one or sit in one, that drive themselves, right? You know, you can sit there, read Bhagavad Gita while the car goes. And of course you might have to be reading Bhagavad Gita if there's a problem in the computer program. So, but is that car conscious? I'm going from Varsana to Nandagram. Is that camera with a computer program, it says saffron kurta. Does it know what it's saying? Is it conscious? Is it aware? Consciousness means to be aware, self-aware, self-cognizant. And within that consciousness we find our identity and we find the ability to will. I will come to class, I won't go to class. I'll follow Ekadashi nicely tomorrow or I won't follow it. We can choose. Now, does the Tesla motor car on the road, does it choose? No, you program. I go from Varsana to Nandagram. Of course, it'll probably get stuck in a traffic jam. But is it conscious? Does it know, oh, I'm going to Varsana. That is the place of Radharani. Oh, this is really nice. I'll be able to take darshan of the hill. Look at those wonderful temples on the Chaturmukh. That mountain, that is an expansion of Lord Brahma. Does the Tesla car think like that? No, it's just an electrical reaction. It's not aware at all. It is an automaton. Or it is, as they make movies now, zombie. Right? They have movies. Zombie apocalypse. Oh, you've been watching them, I can tell. Where the zombies come out of the ground and they try to kill the living conscious beings. So Krishna says that there are two energies manifest in this world. There is the conscious being and the unconscious being. This microphone is not getting realization from my class. It is just transmitting, converting to electrical impulses. But the conscious beings are able to think, interesting point. And so they are distinct. Same thing with time. The materialists cannot explain time in terms of matter. They write some fancy equation on the board, x times 3 over 4 times z times the square root of 1 minus 0 times 3.5 equals time. And then all the little donkeys look at the program written by the big donkey, and they don't understand it, but they say, oh, very nice, you're a big donkey. They know that they'll lose their job if they say, this is donkey language. What are you talking about? That doesn't explain time. Huh? Oh. You'll have to find another job. So they teach this to the baby donkeys and charge them money. Time is a movement of atoms and molecules, right? They have to tie it to the matter. Because as soon as they start saying that time, space, and even matter itself has come from a conscious source, what does Prabhupada quotes it many times, that there are 3 categories. Of course, Krishna's energies are unlimited in potency and variety. But there are three basic divisions you can make. The Chit Shakti, the Achit Shakti, material energy, and the Tatastha Shakti, the living entities, that's you and me. So, the Chit Shakti is conscious. It is the direct effulgence of Krishna. And it forms the substance of the spiritual world. And the Jiva Shakti is also Shakti. It is actually it is emanated from Krishna, but it is under the purview of Radharani, because all Shaktis, they are Prakriti. So we are Prakriti. But the problem is, in the material world, we are trying to be Purusha. Right? We have emanated from Krishna, so there is a Purusha element in our constitution. But we are meant to be the Prakriti, the servitor, and serve under the direction of Bhakti Devi Srimati Radharani. But in the material world, we are trying to be Purusha. Purusha means Ishvaropiyaham, I am the controller. Aham Bhogi, I am the enjoyer. Right? Just like now in Ukraine, there is one set of politicians that say, we are the controller and enjoyer of Ukraine. And then there's another set of politicians that say, we are the controller and enjoyer of Ukraine. Right? And so everyone in this way, individually and collectively, is trying to control and enjoy. Sometimes man-made religion, right? The Judaic people think, we are the chosen people. We will control and enjoy the world when our Messiah comes. Then the Christians come forward and they say, no, we are the real divine people. We will control and enjoy when Jesus comes again. And then the Muslims come forward and say, no, we are going to control and enjoy this world. Because Muhammad is the last prophet. And you can choose the Quran or the... So, in this world, politically, right, the communists come forward and they say, oh, this religion stuff is no good. So you can follow Marx and Engels and control and enjoy the universe, the material world, on the basis of atheism. And worship the state, worship Stalin. And then in Africa, this tribe wants to control and enjoy. Or this group of lions want to control and enjoy this area of the savannah. So in this world, everyone is trying to control and enjoy. Right? The Mughals came to India. They were here 800 years. We want to control and enjoy India. Then the British came, the East India Company, and said, no, we want to control and enjoy. We can make good business here, trading. And then there was the Gandhi said, no, we want to control and enjoy India. So then the Congress Party, and then BJP come forward, no, we will control and enjoy, we will direct. But the Vaishnavas say, no, Krishna is the controller, he is the enjoyer, and we are dasa das anudas. So, we recognize the supremacy of the Supreme Person. He is Param Purusha. And we are his subordinates. Vivaswan recognizes Krishna as his superior. He's serving the Devatas. 33 million administrative Devatas run the different elements of the material energy. But they are all imbued with Sevabhav. The materialist, disconnected from his connection with the Supreme, tries to be the controller and enjoyer. But the devotee has Sevabhav, so he serves the Supreme through his activity. And that is the science that is mentioned herein in this verse. Am I to understand, in the beginning, you instructed this science to him? This is the science of Sevabhav, how to perform your work and activities as an offering to the Supreme. And the result you take as his prasad. The materialist is performing activities to get the result. I've opened a business to get money. I'm working in the factory to get money. They're performing activities to get the result. They're greedy for the life. Therefore, karma bandhana. Mudoyam nabijananti. Karma bandhana. Because they are self-motivated and they have no seva bhav, they are bound by the material energy. So therefore they get the result, the karma fall of their material activities. However, the devotee, he performs the same duties as an offering to the Supreme. So therefore he is in yoga. He is in union. Therefore his activities do not bear material fruit. He does his activities as Krishna has instructed Arjuna, as a sense of duty, expertly, but as an offering to the Supreme. And the result you take as the prasad of Krishna. So this is the science, and this is the science of yoga. It's clarified in the previous verse. That very science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. And therefore you can understand the transcendental mystery of this science. Yes, so the materialist, he looks at the devotees and he looks in the temple, they're dancing, they're making garlands, they are having children, they are selling books. And he thinks, what's the difference? I'm doing that kind of thing in my factory, producing something and selling it publicly. But the devotees, by their sadhana and by their jnana, this chapter is called Gyan. It means spiritual knowledge. By their Gyan, they have awoken Sevabhav. So they are performing all varieties of activities as we have to do. We have to brush our teeth, we have to take a shower in the morning, we have to take a good diet, we have to do this, we have to do that. But the center of the devotee's consciousness is Sevabhav. And because of that Sevabhav, he is in yoga. He is in union with the Supreme. So he is transcendental to the modes. Let me see. Yes, number 14. Listen to this, what Krishna says. There is no work that affects me. So he's already explained, I'm beyond the time factor. I manifest in this material world. It is divyam, janma karma divyam. I am just coming from transcendence and I am giving instruction. I am re-establishing the science of connection to the Supreme, yoga, and I am now appearing in this world. I'll stay 125 years. I'll re-establish the Gita, Mahabharata. I'll make all these literatures, the Srimad Bhagavatam available, so on and so forth, so that you know what is transcendence. Then I'll come later as Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, and I'll teach Sankirtan Yajna, especially for Kali Yuga. And through that, you can awaken Seva-bhav and go to the spiritual world. In the material world, everyone wants to serve himself. In the spiritual world, everyone has Seva-bhav to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. So I'm going to do that. There is no work that affects me, na karmani limpanti, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. Right? In the material world, we perform, like I said, we perform action and we're thinking, I'm going to get the salary, I'm going to get the fruit. I do not aspire for the fruits of action. Now listen to this. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reaction of work. So this is jnana. This is spiritual knowledge. If you realize that Krishna is not entangled, he's appearing in this material world, but his activities are divyam, they are not bound by the material modes, they are an ecstatic manifestation, a lila, a presentation of the spiritual energy, of which the jiva is a natural resident. When that is understood, and that Krishna also, he performs activities, but he's not after some result. Why should he be? He is the Supreme Lord. He is the possessor of everything. What is that verse? Ishvara sarvabhutanam, Hriday se Arjuna tista. No, that Suridam sarvabhutanam, gyatva mam shanti mrichati, sarvaloka maheshwaram. Right? The Krishna, he is the controller of the whole material universe. He has nothing to gain. He is already the perfect, supreme, unchallengeable, supreme personality of Godhead. He's got nothing to attain. So I'm not aspiring for the fruits of action. I'm Leela Mayi. I like to perform pastimes with my devotees. And in the material world, one of my pastimes, as Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, as the six Goswamis, as the great acharyas, is to liberate the souls. And the first step in that is knowledge of myself. So we want to become liberated. There is a verse in the Bhagavatam, Muktir hitavanyata rupam swarupena vavashtiti. And that is, what is mukti? Swarupena avashtita. That one should be liberated in one's swarup. What is that sloka? Jivara swarupo Nijera Krishna das. That we are, that is our nature. That is our eternal nature. But now we're going through this chain of action and reaction. We're getting bodies according to the material fruit. How to break that? That is done by particularly this. You see? This specific understanding that Krishna is free of the reaction of work. He's not performing work because he's greedy for the result, but he's performing work for the benefit of all the living entities. He's showing them. Here, this is transcendence. Look at the 10th canto. This is the transcendental world. It is the Ras Leela. But in the material world, you're getting the Virat Rupa. Right? In the Bhagavatam, there's the Ras Leela. It's an ecstatic dance, Krishna and his devotees. But in the 11th chapter of the Gita, Arjuna asked Krishna, let me see that form by which you pervade this material universe. And then, okay, I'll give you Divya Shakshus, I'll give you divine vision. And then Arjuna sees what this material world really is. You sees birth, death, the war, the battle, everything. He sees everything. And then, what are you? And then, Kalosmi Aham. Time I am, right? Time is not a movement of atoms and molecules. Some stupid equation speculated by some Buddha. Time is the ruler of this world. It is the direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Nobody can overcome time. Time is absolutely necessary. If I want to do something, I need time to do it. I'm absolutely dependent on time. Time is absolute. So that is the absolute truth, Param Tattva, the supreme truth, manifest daily. We cannot go back to Mangalarti now. We may have fallen asleep during Mangalarti or the Japa period and not chanted many rounds. Can we go back now and say, oh, I fell asleep during Mangalarti, I'll go back, chant my rounds. I've been busy all day, I've got to get at least 16 done, so I'll go back to the Japa period. No, we're completely bound. We're bound by time and space, and our consciousness is bound by karma. If we act for ourselves. But we hear in the Brahma Samhita and the descriptions of the spiritual world that time is absent and space is a servant of the Leela. In this material world, we can get 500 people in this hall. Okay, it's India. We can get 1,000. But that would be the limit. But in the spiritual world, everyone can sit next to Krishna on the bank of the Jamuna. All the cowherd boys, they sit with Krishna and they feel that Krishna is paying attention to them. They're not bound by time and material time and space. In the Ras Leela, Krishna and the gopis and Radharani, they were having a wonderful time. Okay, let's make this night as long as the night of Lord Brahma. Time and space in the spiritual platform, on the spiritual platform, are servants. But in the material world, in this low energy, this jada shakti, this dull material energy, we are bound by it. And the way to become unbound is by realizing that Krishna is not bound by it. This specifically is given. And the science of the Supreme is to gain that knowledge. In the Gita, this is Jnana Yoga. Chapter 4 is called that. Chapter 5 is Nice Karma Yoga. That means performing your activities without fruitive result or desire. Chapter 3 is Karma Yoga. So what's the difference? Karma Yoga and nice Karma Yoga. The chapter 4 is spiritual knowledge. So when we absorb spiritual knowledge, we become liberated. In this material world, if I learn to operate this camera, it does not give me spiritual realization. But spiritual knowledge, by its effect, by its quality, gives liberation. Once you realize, you may have this knowledge now. Krishna is transcendental. So work doesn't bind him. He's not aspiring for the fruit. So this is knowledge. We want to turn jnana into vigyan, realization, through sadhana bhakti, through the mercy of Krishna, through the mercy of Mahajan, through the mercy of Acharya, through the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. We want to turn knowledge into realization. And when that realization takes place in the consciousness, it elevates us out of the material energy. And it doesn't matter, male, female, young, old, whatever. If that realization is there, one becomes free of the material energy. So, that science, as we say here, of the relationship with the Supreme is taught in Bhagavad Gita. And just as a final point for this class, there are 5 topics in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? Ishvara, the Supreme Lord. So if we gain knowledge of the quality of Ishvara, and this is a prime quality, in previous classes we've discussed that if we understand Krishna as Janmadhyas Yata, the source of everything, then we lose envy. And it's Matsarya that binds us to material ignorance and activity. But as soon as we realize, oh, Krishna is my creator, then we feel favorable. We lose Matsarya. So, Ishvara, here, this verse says, now if you understand that I'm free of the material energy, then you will become free of the material energy. By that realization. So the devotees, they study these verses and they try to turn them by the grace of Krishna, by the grace of Guru, into realization. And then, Nahabrakar, there's no loss or diminution. Once you realize that Krishna is the source, Krishna is free of the material energy, once that realization takes place in your consciousness, it is your eternal possession. There's no loss or diminution. You are making advancement into that understanding that will awaken your swarup. Muktir hitavanyata rupam. So, Ishvara, that's the number 1 topic. And then, number 2 is Jiva. What is Jiva? That is discussed in Gita. And then the 3rd topic is Prakriti. Like we said at the beginning of the class, there is 2 kinds of Prakriti. There is the spiritual energy and there is the material energy. And the Jiva is Prakriti also, but he's given that separate category. Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti. And then Kala. Kala. Kala is actually the energy manifest through Lord Shiva. Sada Shiva. When Mahavishnu glances upon the material energy personified in Durga Devi, that glance contains Sada Shiva, the time factor. So that is an eternal function. It agitates, just like there's been a little controversy. The Hindus are worshipping a penis or something. No, that is the Shakti of the Supreme Lord, and the Yoni is the material energy, the Prakriti. And the combination of those, the Shakti and the Prakriti, causes the manifestation of the variety of the material world. So when we worship when we worship Lord Shiva in the form of Linga, we are worshipping the potency of the Supreme Lord. But that is a whole subject, but basically that's it. And then number 5 is karma. So you have Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, and Karma. So the first 4 are eternal. Ishvara is eternal. That means he's free of the material energy. Jiva is free by nature of the material energy, but his consciousness is captured by desiring to be controller and enjoy in this material world. And then next, Prakriti. So the material energy is eternal also. It is manifest as Pradhan. But then that glance of Mahavishnu, which contains the modes of material nature, the jivas that want to enjoy the material energy, their karma, their kam, their desire, this impregnates the material energy, and then the material world is created. But this Kala Shakti, this is going on. Mahavishnu exhales, the creation is there. He inhales, the creation is withdrawn. And then there is karma, but that is not eternal, right? We are performing material activity and we may go to the Devaloka. But as soon as the pious credit is exhausted, we come back down. Martyaloka, Vishanti. We may go to Narak, but as soon as that pap is burnt out, we become free. So karma, our karma file, just like this body, it will last maximum 100 years, and then we'll get another body, another situation. This life, we may be women, we may be men, we may be young, we may be old, whatever. It is a karma file, but it is all temporary. So karma is temporary, but Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, and Kala, they are eternal functions. So this is the science of the Supreme. This is Gyan. And when these items are understood by grace of Krishna and Acharya, we become liberated. And from that liberated platform, we can perform bhakti proper. Right? So Gyan, Siddhanta, Sambandha Gyan, Abhidaya Prayojan, Veda Pramana, teaching all those things. Once we attain Gyan, we become liberated. Then bhakti can be performed properly, because bhakti in the real sense is performed in the spiritual body, in the Swarupa. So through sadhana, we study Shastra, we perform tapasya, and then swayameva spuriyada, we become realized in transcendence. And then simultaneously our bhakti bhav, our seva bhav awakens. And we become able to transcend the material energy in relationship to the Supreme Lord. So that is the ancient science of the Supreme that Krishna is re-establishing now, because it was lost in the course of time, right? In the course of time, this material world, people forget, they have no knowledge, they maybe mix Maya Shakti into their understanding, and it all becomes confused. So Krishna, yada yada hi dharmasya, he comes time and time again to re-establish disciplic succession. So there's lots of talk about disciplic succession, right? Who is Diksha Guru? Who is Shiksha Guru? Who is Vama Pradaksha Guru? Who is this Guru, that Guru? That is good, because by discussion of spiritual matters, we can get realization of them. But we should always remember the simple essence of what is disciplic succession. And that is manifest in the Gita. The simple essence of all disciplic succession is simple. Simply, qualified guru instructs qualified disciple. That is the central core. Arjuna is the qualified disciple. He has asked Krishna, please instruct me, I am a soul surrendered to you. And Krishna is the qualified instructor. So disciplic succession means that qualified guru instructs qualified disciple. And then from that understanding, then we can have so many Siksha Gurus, Diksha Guru, Vama Pradaksha Guru, deity, puja, teach us that. The Bhakti program leader teaching us, so many Shiksha Gurus are there. But the thing is, at the heart, all these are qualified guru instructing qualified disciple. And two words explain the highly qualified guru. Shrotriyam Brahmanishta. Shrotriyam means that the qualified personality is well versed and expert in the Vedic conclusion. He has heard the Vedas and he has realized it. And then the second point is, by realizing the Vedas, like I say that, he's turned knowledge into Vigyan, knowledge into realization, and then he is Brahmanishta. He is fixed in Brahman, he is fixed in transcendence. So that is the Uttamadhikari Guru. He has understood the Vedas, he has performed sadhana to realize the Vedas, to get the grace of Krishna, and then he finds himself Devim Prakritim Ashrita. What's that verse? Mahatmanastamam Patha Devim Prakritim Ashrita. So therefore, his words are transcendental. And they carry the potency of the spiritual world. And by hearing from that realized soul, one becomes realized. And then we'll finish with one sloka. What will you realize? The Brahma Samhita. This is what Lord Brahma realized. So we'll just say the Sanskrit because it's very potent. Shriya Kanta Kanta Paramapurusha Kaltaravo Druma Bhumes Chintamani Gangamai Tuamamritam Kakta Gangnam Natyam Gangamam Apivamsi Priyashaki Chindanandam Jyoti Param Apitad Ashwajam Apicha Sayatra Shirabhi Suravati Surabhibhyascha Sumahan Nirmay Shakyod Kyova Vrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samayaha Bhajye Svita Dvipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Iti Yam Vidantaste Santa Shriti Gadalaya Kaya Katipaye. So this is Lord Brahma's description of what we will realize. I worship that transcendental seat known as Svetadvip, where as loving consorts the Lakshmis, in their unalloyed spiritual essence, practice the amorous service of the Supreme Lord Krishna as their only lover, where every tree is a transcendental purpose tree, where the soil is the purpose gem, all water is nectar, every word is a song, every gate is a dance, the flute is the favorite attendant, effulgence is full of transcendental bliss, and the supreme spiritual entities are all enjoyable and tasty, where numberless milk cows always emit transcendental oceans of milk, where there is eternal existence of transcendental time, which is ever present and without past or future, and hence is not subject to the quality of passing away for even the space of half a moment. That realm is known as Goloka only to a very few self-realized souls in this world. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is the vision that we are in the Brahma Sampradaya. It is this vision that we keep within our consciousness as we chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you all very much. Any question? Okay, thank you. Time for Aarti. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Bhagavad Gita. Sadhu Sangha. Srila Prabhupada.